Admiral's log. Through careful strategy and judiciously chosen battles, we've managed to diminish the Italian Navy's might, gradually eroding their strength and taking them down a peg. Yet, despite our successes, the sheer number of ships at their disposal means that a decisive confrontation is inevitable. The Italian fleet, though weakened, remains formidable. Our recent invasion of Sardinia has only intensified the situation, poking the hornet's nest and drawing the full attention of the Italian Navy. This bold move has put us on a collision course with their remaining battleships, and the stakes have never been higher. A monumental battle looms on the horizon, one that will determine the fate of our campaign and potentially shift the balance of power in the Mediterranean completely. Every ship, every sailor and every strategy must be prepared for the fight of our lives. This is the moment where our resolve and tactical prowess will be tested to their limits. As we brace for this inevitable clash, I'm filled with a mixture of anticipation and determination. We've come this far, and we've sacrificed too much to falter now. The Dragon's might and the indomitable spirit of our Navy will carry us through this trial, leading us to victory that is rightfully ours. Hey guys, still here and welcome to episode 42. Our campaign against the Italians is ongoing, and because of that we still have clashes here and there. I pulled most of the fleet back from Corsica, as well as the invasion of Sardinia, because, well, they were pretty badly battered, and there were more Italian battleships on the way. So I'm very glad that we can isolate at least one of them. Battleship Corona, Castelfidardo class battleship, sporting 14-inch guns. Not that big of a gun, but their rate of fire is probably going to make up for that. Now I have a Cursed Fish, and I have the Guan, which is a ship that I currently have on loan from Croatia. They originally purchased it, but I get to use it. It too is a Cursed Fish battleship. So we're going to have a lot of torpedoes, and that should make life on the Corona, well, at least very interesting. I hope the chef isn't preparing soup, because there's going to be a lot of turning left and turning right and turning left and turning right to try and dodge all the torps. And ideally, they'll not get away with it. I have learned from my previous mistakes with the Cursed Fish and the Guan, or at least the Cursed Fish class as a whole. I'm going to use these guys pretty much close together, and the rest of the ships are going to be doing a different operation. I also have the Demos over here, capable of using 12-inch guns. Not great to deal with the Italian battleship, but then again, that's not really the purpose. I want to have the Demos go after the bigger actually the smaller targets, the cruisers, the destroyers. That is what the Demos is ideally suited for. These cruisers of theirs pack 15 9-inch guns. It's a lot of firepower. And I do believe that some of them also have a pretty hefty amount of armor. So I'm going to try and do two things at once. Phase 1 of the operation is going to be getting the Cursed Fish and the Guan into a position from where they might be able to engage the battleship. In the meanwhile, they're going to be using their 13-inch guns to pummel the cruisers. Phase 2 is launching torpedoes at the battleship, which at the moment is trailing the cruisers. So eliminating the cruisers is going to give the battleship less of a warning that there's trouble ahead. I also want my destroyers to go after the destroyer over here. So we got the Zhenbian, the Foshan, the Chengde, and the Senmengsha. These are, I believe, pretty old DDs. I don't think I've built a DD in 15 years or so. But they are capable with quite a lot of torpedo launchers. And they're all packing 24 inchers, so they hit hard. They got a good amount of range, which allows me to potentially do a cross-torp with these destroyers. Just have to kind of untangle them from the rest of the formation. Now, as for the enemy fleet, they also got light cruisers, which I believe are not that heavily armed. But they do come with torpedo launchers, so that is a bit of a concern. And we have, yeah, that destroyer of theirs with 5-inch guns and a modest torpedo armament, like a triple on the middle. And what's that, a quad or a quin? Yeah, I think it's quintuple, so 5 launchers on the stern. Now the Cursed Fish, as well as the Guan, are going to be moving forward. And then turning port side on, getting the torpedoes away, going for a full turn and getting the starboard side to launch. That's the plan. First though, let's get the 5-inchers as well as the 13-inchers going after this DD. Because it is their first line of defense. And it is capable of detecting my torpedoes. Can't have that. There's a little bit of damage. You're going to go after the DD as well. You know what? I'm going to have these guys just follow the Guanwen. Here we go. Gentlemen, prioritize this target if you can. I kind of doubt it, but here's to trying. Ideally, I would have the DD serve as a bit of a lightning rod for the light cruisers. And that these guys are going to be attracting torpedoes. Because if one of my destroyers gets hit, well, it would be unfortunate, but survivable. Hold on. I never built this ship. This is a Croatian destroyer, but I didn't build it. Because I don't build $800 million destroyers which have minimum bulkheads. This is not my boat. There's why. They're tissue ships. They don't have any armor. On the guns, maybe. Okay. Be like that. Alright, so if these DDs do end up taking a hit, they better hope it's an overpen. And even if it is an overpen, they might still die. They simply don't have the armor to take anything, nor the bulkheads to survive any kind of a hit. Engage this. You guys too. You get to engage the second one. Is that your battleship that's isolated? Shame if something happened to it. Unfortunately, it's still a little bit out of range. Like 3 clicks or so. Alright. Yep, the DDs are now attracting fire from at least secondary guns from the battleship. Could be more than that. Torpedoes are capable of reaching the DDs. Oh, I'd love an idea on these guys. I need to see what they're preparing to shoot at. I can kind of make it out with a visual inspection. Oh, hold on. This is the CA. This is a heavy cruiser. Not the CL. The CLs are over there. Oh, never mind then. Never mind then. We're pretty fine. We are pretty fine. There is your capital ship. I do believe that these cruisers have armor for days. That's a problem. Alright, Guanwen, I need you to launch a torpedo salvo against the cruiser over there. We're getting some decent damage in here. Torps away. At least a section of the torpedoes. I don't mean to spend all of the torps on this particular target. You guys get to come to port. Oh. Oh boy. That's flooding. Normally I wouldn't be very concerned with 3 compartments flooding, but with minimum bulkheads, that could be the end of that ship. Now, this guy is taking a good healthy amount of damage right there. I thought these guys had tons of armor. I thought the Italians were known for having like 11 inches of armor, but I'm not seeing it. Come on. Where's that torpedo wall? Here. Yeah, that ought to give at least some of them quite some reason for concern. Guys. Don't. Just don't. 22 clicks out. Cursed fish, turn in. We need to split these guys up. They're too close together. They're presenting themselves as one enormous target, and I hate it. Engage that cruiser. That's a little better. Now we're 2 targets. The torpedo wall seems to be missing the primary target, but hitting a secondary. Although at that point it might already be dead. This battleship then. Nice and alone. Cursed fish is currently leading, i.e. closer. Yeah, let's send the torps. Normal solution. Guanwen ideally maintain speed. Cursed fish has taken some hits, so slows down. DDs, you should be in a decent position. Foshan needs to get out of here. I'm not losing $1 billion worth of a DD. They'll detect it. They're too far away. Let's try and disengage these DDs. They're a bit too close for comfort. There's one CA dead, 1 heavy cruiser's out. think we might have landed a torp. Yeah, one. That ought to be the second. There we go. Alright. Cursed fish. Did you launch or did you get your launchers destroyed? Because that is a rather important distinction. Send it. This is somewhat of a lose it if you don't use it. Because these torpedo launchers are so fragile. And because they're so fragile, the crew takes a lot of hits. And on top of that, the structural integrity drops like a brick every time a torpedo launcher gets destroyed. So I really need to get the cursed fish out of here. And I mean, they're fun ships to use. The problem is they just don't have the survivability. Even with the amount of armor that I gave them, even with the increased crew complement, they just don't have the survivability. And that's a massive problem. Because it means that this ship might make it out with like 45% by the time that they're out of range. And then they're going to spend months in dry dock getting fixed up. And I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Target this if you can. Gentlemen, this is where you get to shine. Target that. Wang Wen is still thinking about it. Don't think about it, just launch. And come over to starboard. What is that torpedo doing? That's a fantastic way to almost torpedo yourself. Good lord, that's dangerous. Okay, where's that other wall? On track. Still gonna take quite a bit of travel time. You guys apparently did try to torpedo me. There's a lot of torps here. They're all going for the DDs. DDs, try and get away from here. This is not a safe spot. I need you to try and keep alive, even with your minimum bulkheads. Because I really do not want to lose those expensive DDs. I mean, their cruisers, I think. Yeah. Their cruisers are extremely cheap compared to one of these DDs. Wait. I got a DD 36 million, 26 million, and 800 million. What gives? Diesels? Yeah, diesels. And you're trying to do 36 knots with the diesel. That too is probably going to be a bit much of a diesel to ask. I mean, it can do it. You're just paying through the nose for one of your DDs to do that. Yeah, this should slow them down some. Wang Wen should be turning around. Here's my thinking. If I try to launch another salvo right now, this battleship is going to be reacting first to this wall, next to that wall. By the time the next salvo of torpedoes gets there, my torpedo solution is so far off the mark that I just might not want to launch right now at all. Because it simply won't hit anything. Are these expensive? Oh, not bad. 350. I think they're gone. Yeah, they're gone. Next. Now, I really hope that these torpedoes do a whole lot of damage, because otherwise I'm going to be restrained to about, well, the 14-inch guns, sorry, the 13-inch guns from the battleships, the Cursed Fish class, and the 12.9s from the other one. Boom, boom, boom. Good damage. 3 of them. Ooh, that knocked you down quite a lot. Quite a lot. Here's the next salvo. Now they do have flooding and engine damage, so they're going to be slowing down, resulting in potentially dodging the torpedoes. I don't like the attention that the Demos is getting from that battleship. Sounds like we're doing good damage, but I'm just seeing, what, 150? That damage sounded a lot worse than it actually was. How about you, friend? How about you? I'd love if it would meet with these, but I doubt it will. Now I do have the Wang Wen. If this were World of Warships, I'd take the whole ship to 5 kilometer range, dump I don't know, 50 torpedoes in the water at short range and call it a day. I don't think that's quite going to happen against this target. Oh, we might get 2 hits though. One bow, one amidship. Bonk, bonk. And you're still targeting the Demos. It's actually really good. Oh, hold on. At least one of these is still torpedo hazard. This one, the Alberto. Don't like it. Oh. Cursed fish and a 40%. It's less than I was hoping for. Okay, send it. Port side. Based on the wake, this thing is doing a very slow turn to starboard. Now they seem to be turning to port. I don't like either of those developments. Ceasefire. They are still flooding. Maximum bulkheads, and yet... Ah, there we go. Well done. We still got this torpedo-capable cruiser. Take it out quickly. Armor? Eh. Not very impressive. Should be doable. What are you thinking of torping? The DD? Yes, I would think that's an excellent idea. Try to torpedo the destroyer. That's about 15 to 17 clicks out. And let me know how that works out for you. In the whoa. Oh, the Muzio sent a nice little parting gift just before it went down. Very funny. Very funny. Okay, there's a second set. They're down to 11% buoyancy. 10? Seasoned crew? Cramped crew quarters. The damage control is down to 80. And this is kind of a mutually reinforcing effect. Because the more flooding you take, the more crew you lose. The more crew you lose, the less you're capable of taking care of that flooding. So because of that, I don't think this battleship's going to make it. At this point, I really only need to hit it with 1 torpedo. If that. And this thing ought to go down. There she goes. Done. So, I hope there's no fishermen around, because, this is not fisherman's friend. This is nobody's friend. Yeah, they're gone. Okay. So, let's rack up that last kill as we dodge. Was that you? Oh, you sneaky, sneaky cruiser. I thought we were agreeing that you were going to torpedo the Fauchon, not me. In the battle cruiser. Thank you very much. Take it out. Crew loss, serious, buoyancy. Problematic. To say the least. Congratulations. As weak as you are, you're now the thumbnail. Alberto. Come on. Oh, they still got it? Not even recent either. The crew of the Fauchon was struggling to contain the flooding, and I thought they had it. But in the end, it got them. Oh, that was an expensive destroyer loss. Very unfortunate. Thankfully, it's not in my navy. But of course, that doesn't really matter. Because the Italians still get the victory points for that. So what else is happening in the world? Well, not much at the moment. These 2 invasions are not going to go anywhere. Because I had to pull the entire fleet back. They still have 3 battleships in La Spezia. They have no battleships in Livorno. They got nothing in Nice. But they still have this land invasion. It's going, I'd say, quite well for the Italians, looking at the losses that I have taken. I find it very difficult to predict if I'll actually be able to win this fight. By the looks of it right now, it doesn't look too promising. So what's the plan then? Well, we can still try and go... Oh, they seem to have a bit of an uprising in northern Algeria. We can still try to take northern Algeria from them. And on top of that, my fleet needs a bit of repairs. Once that is done, I can get the fleet back out. I have one ship over here, that's the Robin Lush. I also have a lot of ships here, most of which are okay. There's only some of them that have taken damage, but for now, I can definitely push some ships back out. Ideally, of course, I would take these battleships from the Italians one by one, because they still have a fairly unhealthy number of them at 31 ships. So I need to start taking these guys piecemeal instead of just having one big engagement, because I won't win that. As for the rest of the Italian fleet, where are they? It must be nice controlling the Strait of Gibraltar because they're going to the Caribbean. The long way around. Because the other route is blocked off. Since the Spanish were... well, they were motivated with a strongly worded letter to try and give me this territory. So, yeah, I appreciate that. Let's... well, maybe I can still make this work. Put the fleet there. We're going to push this whole fleet to Sardinia. That is how much? 350,000 tons. And this fleet is another 113,000 tons. I don't believe that Sardinia is exactly covered by the protective, if you will, protective battleships from La Spezia. So the invasion here is going to be very, very, very difficult. But this one might actually succeed. They don't have any ships there. Yeah, we might just be able to pull Sardinia away from them. Kind of right under their noses, but it's going to take a lot of turns. This is looking like it's going to be probably another 6 months, if not more than that. Now, I'm still more than a little bit concerned about the Germans. The Germans have gobbled up northern France, and they have recovered from the war that I had with them. And they've done that mostly by by building a lot of destroyers and light cruisers. So they got a massive fleet, 228 ships. Compare that to my 67 ships, and you can see that I really don't have that many ships. Their naval tonnage is 2.8 million. Mine is 1.2. So tonnage-wise, it's about 2.5. And that does mean that we don't really seem to be that far behind. It's just that they have a lot of ships. That can still be a very useful thing in its own right. But for now, I do not want to fight Germany. I want to maintain a decent relationship with them. If they would also engage the Italians, that'd be lovely, but I don't expect that. The other, well, what's left of the other economies, we got Austria-Hungary, decent. Russia is quite small and still seems to be in the process of collapsing. The United States, not doing too hot. Spain, not doing too hot. And then the Brits, yeah, they're kind of shrinking. They got 3 whole provinces. Southern England, Wales, and Northwest England. That's all that remains of the once mighty British Empire. 3 little provinces. The rest has been gobbled up by the Germans, some of which, some of the territories over in the Pacific and the Asian theater I've taken over. And as for, I think, their former colonies in Africa, yeah, Germany happened. And when Germany happens, the British tend to lose, at least early game. A couple months later, the Italian fleet shows up in full force. This is problematic, especially considering the very few ships that I actually have to fight them. These guys, well, some of them are armed with 14-inch guns, some of them are armed with 11-inch guns. They are doing reasonable speeds, 27 knots, 24 knots. I have fairly big guns, 17-inchers. I have pretty good speed at 30 knots. This goes for most ships. I believe I can outrun the Italians for a while, if not for the entirety of the battle. And we're just going to be shooting over our shoulder the whole way out. That's the way that this battle is going to go. If we're able to just break contact with them while giving them a hefty bloody nose, that works for me. Because I cannot do a stand-up fight against this many ships. I don't have the ships, I don't have the longevity, I don't have the armor, and I probably don't have the ammo for it either. Let's see what we have. The Italian fleet is 45 kilometers out. That is something I can hit. I do want to conserve ammo. I have plenty of armor piercing, which at this range might be my best bet. especially as we get plunging shells. Then we have the Demos, which surprisingly is capable of reaching out and eventually getting those shells to land. Again, armor piercing, save your ammo. Then we got a couple of cruisers, the Jingwen and the Zhili, and one light cruiser, the Zhucheng. These are armed with torpedo launchers, but very few of them. And I have range to 17 clicks, but I'm facing a lot of 11-inchers, so we are not going to put the ship to risk. I will not have it. Bridge Creeper and Robin, they're going to turn to port and prepare to slow down just a few knots to 27. Demos, like the whole div is just going to follow them. That's all we're going to do. We are going to follow. And we're going to let the battleships for now do the talking. Because I do not want to get caught by this enormous Italian battle group. Ship that they do have, well, this is the 11-incher. That's another 11. Need to find their bigger guns. Which one's firing? This one? Yes. That's our target, right there. Shoot the thing that can shoot you. It's a very, very plain strategy. But I do believe that if we can eliminate those 14-inch guns fairly early, or at least slow them down, that would be a big advantage. As for their escorts, I do expect them to be able to get into range. There's not a whole lot that I can do to stop them, at least not very quickly. And this means that we're going to have to just let their secondary guns on the battleships do the work. Let them deal the damage. Seeing as you can smoke up, you might as well. Could you stop messing up? This thing already took one hit for 3,000 damage. I probably slowed the ship down some, so I'm going to pull this battle cruiser immediately away from this fight. No, not like that. You're going to leave. Quickly. The rest of you, follow the battleships. I have plenty of armor-piercing ammunition, so I can keep shooting that for a while. This is their escorts? Yeah, this is the escort group. Or at least one of them. Ricochet. Okay, what do we got there? DDs? CLs. That's a lot of gun. That's a CA. That's 8-inch guns. It's not a CL. It's a heavy cruiser. I don't believe we're actually doing a whole lot of damage, if anything. We've done 11 damage. Okay. Switch to HE. Let's see a high explosive. No, I don't think we're going to be penning decks. Well, we might be able to pen a deck. 7 inches of armor. Pen with HE. Right through the deck. Yeah, I'll take that. We are trying to land shells right through a smokescreen, however. Shoot the different target here. Oh, we got 3k damage now. 12 inchers are doing damage. Oh, against one of these. That's the Demos. The gift that keeps on giving. 20 kilometers out. We have torps reaching to 15. No, we can just keep these guys at bay for a while. That'd be fine. That would be fine. The 7-inch guns can't get in there. Not yet. But the cruiser, or the cruisers, they should be able to. They have plenty of ammunition. About 15, almost 1,600 rounds. Actually, over 1,600 rounds, so that should be sufficient. 24 clicks, 22 clicks. Okay, we already got one of the DDs persuaded not to pursue this course of action. That's one. That's a secondary gun destroyed. Yeah, we're now getting into range of all the 11s. Start running. Start running. The problem is with these ships, I kind of have to run at an angle, because otherwise I simply cannot use the bow turrets, and I really want to use as much firepower as possible. Unfortunately, that also means running at flank speed, which gives additional vibrations to the ship, which means less accuracy. This is, unfortunately, how it is. Our torpedo launchers can reach at the 14 clicks, which is not where they're at. At least not yet. Good hit. I like it. That might finish that DD off. I really like how the Italian battleships are in divisions that probably aren't going to be that fast, or at least that maintain the speed of the slowest ship in the formation. which means their chances of actually catching up to me are not that good. It's not impossible, it's just not that likely. Okay, steady as she goes. Chance to hit is not great, though. Is the Demos getting out? Flank speed? That is flank speed. Oh, that's a problem, though. Cruiser div, turn to port. Battleship div, turn to port, eventually. You're being led by a light cruiser. Okay. I need to eliminate these chasers. These ships have to go. Because if they keep pummeling the battle cruiser, and if they cause potentially some flooding or engine damage, that is deadly. These guys have to stop. I'm not sure exactly why we're firing armor piercing at it. Not necessarily the biggest threat. Target this. Your 8-inch gun can be really useful here in keeping these DDs off of you. Sorry, light cruisers. Yeah, 7-inch guns. As for the battleships, they're going to be turning around. Yeah, it's a light cruiser. Oh, and they've already launched against one of the heavy cruisers. Turn. Coty. If there's one that launched, it's probably going to be the whole line. Smoke and run. At least they're launching against the heavy cruiser, not the battle cruiser. Just not landing any kind of a hit here. Switch to the San Marco. Use armor piercing. It's not a critical target right now for the battleships, but I am considering the heavy cruisers to be somewhat dangerous to my battle cruiser because they can do 30. The battle cruiser is limited to 25, which means if they maintain course, they will catch up. I cannot accept that. Range 17. We're still not there. Oh, this is when a cursed fish, like just one of them, would have been very, very helpful. As a formation breaker. Holy shit, dude. You got smacked. That's most of the San Marco gone. If we can eliminate it, that'd be great. That's about 500 million worth of ship. Ooh. So these battleships are getting hits in. I don't want to turn too much because there's probably still torps coming at me. So ideally, the Vittorio Veneto would now be slowing down. But it's not. It's not. Crap. Target the Vittorio. Need to keep them off of me. I can definitely outrun their faster ships. Oh, sorry, their slower ships, these battleships. But these cruisers, that is something I cannot outrun. What are you doing, dude? Well, it might come in useful anyway. Get the torps off. Break up that formation, or at least give them cause to start turning around. We need to throw these guys into disarray. Yep, torps out. Very good damage against the Coty. Might be done. Yeah, they're done. Okay, that's one. Plenty more where that came from. Battleship status. The 7-inch guns are still not in range. Oh, they are now. Okay, we're going to start targeting the Basilicata with the 7-inchers. And then use the main armor piercing against, yeah, the Vittorio, I think. Push that thing out. Keep it at bay. One or two good hits with a massive amount of pen. Bit of flooding. Cause some crew loss. Oh, hold on. These guys have spacious quarters. It's different. Crap. This battle cruiser is still getting quite close to the enemy. Their battleships are 31 clicks out. Ooh, we landed the torp. We have landed a torp on the Marco Polo. Yep, 2 torps in fact. It does look like the heavy cruisers have considered that turning around might be safer. They're not wrong. HE. Is there... Well, they're broadside now. These heavy cruisers thankfully aren't trying yet. Oh, you're still trying to hit the heavy cruiser group. Okay, that's fine. I do want to kind of keep the guys somewhat together to make sure that they're able to sort of lend fire to each other. Come on, eliminate the Marco Polo. All the guns. Oh, come on. You're blocking that? Or was that a 7-inch shell that you blocked? High explosive. Blocked. 17-inch high explosive. Gets blocked like it's nothing. It's impressive. And a bit scary. Firing range, about 31 with armor piercing. So yeah, my battleships are safe for the time being. And those ships... They're not chasing me? Well, sort of. This whole division here is not really making a lot of speed. These are still 27s. Yeah, that's... They're now opening up against one of my battleships. Okay. I think the battleships can take it. Hello? Is this you turning? Thank you. I'm surprised that we're not actually doing any kind of reasonable damage against these cruisers here. I was really expecting we'd blow them out of the water with a couple of shots, but we're just not getting anywhere. That is very unfortunate. But the 7-inchers on this light cruiser here, the Basilicata. Not terribly expensive, but very dangerous if this guy gets into range. Demos, that's your target. You got those nice 12.9s. Good, fast-firing guns. Use them. Breach Creeper. We're running low on high explosive. It's not fun. There you go. That's the damage that I seek. Right there. Basilicata is turning, but that might just cause her to launch her torps. Target the Saeta. I just need some ships to stop following me around. That's the most important element here. Have these guys stop chasing me down. I don't care if I get a complete kill on it. Just putting it out for the fight is the priority. And if that comes with sinking the ship, yeah, great, but it's a bit of a bonus. Saeta, though, badly, badly damaged. She's flooding again, 40%, 36, 35. Basilicata has definitely decided that this is not her fight. She's disengaging. That's the goal. Saeta is down. Switch to the Vittorio. Good kill. Okay. Can you... yeah, you can definitely shoot out that far. Vittorio appears to be drifting. But upon closer zoomed-in inspection, it seems fine. This is one of those heavily armored cruisers. Not as heavily armored as her sister. But good lord. 190% armor quality. 195 for them. That's a lot. That is a lot. I don't think we can pen that with HE. As good as my HE is. We're like 22.5. On paper, I can just about pen it. But I don't want to have the Breach Creeper and the Robin get too close. They don't carry as many torpedo launchers as the light cruisers, but they're still a threat. Their range, 18.5. The problem with these torpedo launcher positions is that they're very badly angled. So they're going to have to go and almost turn away from me in order to launch their torpedoes. Which I rather doubt they will do. What the hell are these battleships doing? Let me guess, you're speeding? Yeah, but not as much as most of the cruisers can. Ooh, I don't like the amount of ammo that I got left. Who's leading this party? The bridge scraper? You're the flagship? Yeah, you're the flagship. Where is the Demos? Oh, you're outside of the range of these ships. That's excellent. That's excellent. So the closest ship for you is the heavy cruiser at 30 clicks. The closest ship for the battleship, I think, is also the heavy cruiser. Yeah, 15 clicks. Steady as she goes. We can take a couple of hits, even if it's 14 inch. Ship has plenty of armor covering, especially main deck, which I think is going to be the part that's most likely to take hits. Switch. And you target the Polo. Nevertheless, I am going to try and disengage. I know that I've not really done anything against their battleships, but we'll just have to take that as it is. I'd much rather be around to fight another day. Because this fight is not in my favor, and if it's not a fair fight, you're doing something wrong. In this case, I'm doing something very wrong, because it's not even close to a fair fight. It's extremely, extremely favoring the Italians. So it's time to call it a day and disengage. But pretty please hit something, Robin. Any day now. Can you pin these battleships? Certainly. Okay. These battleships have pretty poor armor quality compared to their cruiser friends. Like, the armor itself isn't a whole lot, and then they don't have the armor quality to give it a boost. Turn starboard. There's the bridge creeper. Ooh, that's really good damage. That cruiser might be done for. Guiscardo is slowing down. You guys can do what? 27? There goes the Guiscardo. That's another finishing blow. You're currently running at 26.6. Okay. You're shooting up the San Marco... Sorry, the Marco Polo. Yep. You're also shooting up the Marco Polo. Excellent. I want to see if we can pen this battleship here. Because that heavy cruiser has decided that this is not their fight. They're falling back. We still got the wounded Basilicata and the Ottaviano, but they're very badly flooded and they won't make it to the front line. Not likely to happen. Now, as for the armor on these ships, with a 1.8 inch forebelt, they might be angled, but I don't think it'll do much for them. Exactly like that. That went right through the main tower of all things. That does destroy their conning tower, so their accuracy should be worse. Just keep slugging these guys. Yep, they're also slowing down because their leader has been damaged. That's exactly what I was going for. Slowing down the division. Sorry, their conning tower damage is not that bad. Their fire control damage is worse. 25-1. They're looking very weird all of a sudden. Destroyed main tower again. As one does. Now, thankfully, I can keep doing this for a while with my ships. I can keep doing this for a while. We're about 28 clicks out with the CA group, so that's fine. These guys are running away. You guys are running away. So I just have the battleships to manage right now. Just these two. And if we can put one of these Italian battleships back in dry dock, at least for a substantial period of time, I would consider that a big win. If we can completely put it out of action, all the better. But not that likely. As for these damaged CLs, Like, Ottaviano isn't that badly damaged because you can kind of ignore the buoyancy issues that they have. Because that just gets fixed instantly after the battle. Their structural integrity will not. It is possible that we'll see these ships again very soon. So, in that sense, it is in my favor to just do as much damage as possible so that the next fleet that engages these has an easier time dealing with them. They have to try and get them down to, well, down to sunk. So I'm going to slow down the ships a bit. This should give me some better accuracy, and the enemy, at least this division, can only do 24 knots. The battleships over there, well, they don't appear to be in a hurry either. 23-8. Perfect. Terribile took another flooding hit. She's now broadside on. Oh, that pretty much hurt her. Pretty bad. Terribile falling back. This is one that I would like to take out entirely, but accuracy is going to drop pretty quick because they're doing all sorts of weird and wonky maneuvers. So we're going to start targeting the Stengal. You're going to turn over to port. Oh, that's again right through the conning tower. Seems to be a bit of a weak spot on the Stengal. Well, on the whole class, that is. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to immediately yield any kind of a result. Oh, crap. They're ignoring the fact that they're... Yeah, because the... Right. These ships seem to travel at the speed of the division leader, which currently is the Stengal. That means that these ships are now kind of ignoring the fact that the Terribile is slowed down. So they're just kind of leaving the Terribile behind. Which means, yeah, I'll have to do that. Just that. Deal a boatload of damage to the Stengal and knock out an engine. Destroy the main tower. Very good. These are pretty expensive ships at 900 million. But for battleship standards, they're cheapest ships. Maybe only the Demos comes close. Oh, the Demos is 300 million? Yeah. And then we got the Robin at about 3 billion. Swap fire again. Target the Colombo. We can finish these guys off later, but I first need them to slow down. So that I can slow down again and build my accuracy back up. I still have about 270 shells per ship. A little less than the other one. So that should be sufficient to keep these guys going for quite a while longer. And with 13% accuracy, I'm confident we can get a lot of damage done. Even you have lost your conning tower? Is that the first thing that instantly takes a hit on these ships or something? It's weird. Their accuracy leaves a lot to be desired at 4%. As with a Generation 1 radar rangefinder, my ships have Generation 3. And their rangefinder type is stereoscopic 5, so they are set up to deal with longer range accuracy better. But by the looks of it, even the Colombo is now deciding that it is not a fight that they can easily win. Target the Genis, or the Genis? Not exactly sure how to pronounce that. These others are 45 clicks out, not a threat. Cripple this thing. The Colombo is suffering from 45% damage and stability, which is why I'm not prioritizing her anymore, because she can't shoot back very well. Good damage. Fighting retreat this one. And it seems to be going very, very, very well. You're going to start slowing down, making yourself a much easier target. I'm kind of waiting for an engine to fail. Blocked. No such luck as of yet. Come on. You're running 24 knots, you're running 25 knots. You should be able to land a hit right about now. Something got pins. There you go. Destroyed main gun, no less. Oh, that was good. Down to 40% structural integrity. Once the armor goes, it starts to really add up quickly. The ship can consider itself lucky that it didn't pop the turret right off. Okay, now I'm going to be a little bit more aggressive. Turn in. But I am going to set my guns to only be aggressive to a certain extent. I want to be able to land hits. Ideally, I would now take out 4 battleships and use the secondaries to finish off these light cruisers before disengaging completely. I don't care about the DDs, and I really do not want to party with the rest of the battleships here. Because that is some serious firepower that I'm not ready to contend with. The heavy cruisers here, these are the ones that we've badly hurt. So they're not likely to come in again anytime soon. We're still targeting this one, but missing by a substantial margin. Okay, let's not push into the enemy fleet entirely. Turn back. Secondaries on the cruisers. Loads and loads and loads of 7-inch ammunition. We're starting to take some partial pens. It's only a matter of time until one of these shells flies in. There we go. Ooh. Buoyancy dropping. Structural down to 17%. Come on, take out these CLs. They have to go. Might have overextended here. Just stayed around for too long. Turn out and increase the flank. Finish off this battleship. 14% structural. Oh, the Terrible is back. 95 shells left on the mains. I'll have to resupply these ships as quickly as possible. The 7-inch guns are not dealing with this light cruiser as quickly as I'd hoped. Oops. Slammed the Dante Alighieri. And of course they lost the conning tower. I don't think we can sink this thing. This thing's going down though. Switch. Secondaries maintain pressure on the light. You got 68 shells left. Send a blast into the Basilicata. 1 or 2 hits ought to do it. 40% chance to hit. I really only need 1 or 2 shells. Yeah, there you go. That's your flooding. Turn back out. Now we got way, way, way overpenned. Primaries back on the Terrible. We're down to 41 shells on the Breach Creeper now. And we can still fortunately run at 27 knots, which is about as fast as the Italian fleet. If they would run at flank. And they're not. They're running at 22 knots, so I can disengage fairly easily. As for this ship, they're doing 19 knots, so I can easily disengage from them too. Oh! Shall we not do that? That was, of course, to be expected, but not very welcome. Destroyed main tower. If you're typing in the comments, you should have killed one of these battleships. Yeah, you're probably right. I probably should have. But I put almost the entire Italian fleet back in dry dock for repairs, which is going to cost them an arm and a leg. And it'll at least make it so that if this fleet engages again, they're going to be in a very, very bad state. And this was, well, the fleet that I'm fighting with, like my own ships, they're a bit of a small portion of the fleet. So I'm not at all concerned if my bigger fleet engages these guys, that they'll be able to completely pound the shit out of them. That's the plan. Unfortunately, it does seem like my 7-inchers are kind of making a mess of things. And just not landing the hits that I want. Alright, time to disengage, call it a day, and take the win. Now, victory point-wise, this might not have been that impressive. But when it comes to the damage that was dealt, and maybe even the egos that were bruised aboard the Italian ships, I consider this a massive win. It did not cost me much. Sure enough, some of my battleships are going to take a little bit of time to repair. Not even that much. I think loading shells is going to take about a month, and then we'll be right back out here dealing with the Italians all over again. And exactly as I had expected, here is round number 2. This is the second bit of the Italian fleet. Unfortunately, they're also engaging my second bit. My second fleet. But this is going to be another big clash, and it'll have to wait until the next episode. Thank you for watching this one. I hope you guys have enjoyed, and I'll see you soon for this next big battle.